Okay, so I have some regret. I shouldn't start the video like that. I decided this morning as an impulse, it was an impulse decision. I can still pull out, but I've kind of committed in the sense of I got dressed, you know, which is sacred, I think, in its own right. But yes, I decided this morning that I was going to enter NaNoWriMo. Now, we're already on day 9. Technically, I started writing my book on the 4th of November, so it counts. I just didn't know I was doing it. But I woke up this morning and I realized it's writing month, it's NaNoWriMo. I have participated before, and I made it. I feel like I almost didn't make it in a spiritual sense, but I did make it. I had to write like 15K on the last day, and I was like, it was like a photo finish at midnight. The book that I did this with was Welcome to the Universe, which was on Wattpad. It was taken down, but I did win an award for it, so it was worth it. I won the Waddy Awards that year, so hard work pays off, or something like that. Anyway, I didn't have fun when I did that. Mainly, look, it wasn't that, okay, let me rephrase. NaNoWriMo is important for many reasons. Obviously, you know, they're raising money, it's supporting writers, it's getting writers to write, which is always helpful because Lord knows we like to procrastinate. So it's like, it's a good thing. I didn't have good time management back then. And the question is, I did that when I was 21, approximately, give or take a decade later. I'm not going to go into the age thing, but just something around that range. Have I improved? I feel like I know the answer within myself, but I'm hopeful, you know? So I decided to do NaNoWriMo. Okay, I decided to do NaNoWriMo for a few reasons. One, I've got to write a book anyway, so it's like I may as well, you know, so I may as well like make it like a challenge. I'm an Aries, so I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. Like, I can do this. You know, I've got to do it anyway, so it makes sense for that reason. Also last year, my co-writer participated, Anya, and we wrote this book here, Delve. This isn't what she entered with, but we did write it. Just a little shameless promotion right there. It's a vampire witch story, something like that. So she did this last year, and I watched. Do you mind? My cat is right there. I'm not gonna move her. It's her world. I'm just living in it. Featuring her whiskers. She has no idea. She's okay. So the cat has moved. So yeah, last year I had a lot of fun watching her TikToks where she'd do like little updates of how she was going, and like I really like that. So yeah, I had a lot of fun last year watching Anya's TikToks and her progression as she participated. And I thought, okay, I could do that. I could participate. I could document my progress, because Lord knows I'm not going to do it otherwise, without people watching. So, because, you know, if no one's watching, I can just procrastinate. No one will know. But if people know, I'm still probably going to procrastinate, but like I'll put in like a bit more effort. We'll see how it goes. It's a day-to-day thing. But yes, I'm doing NaNoWriMo, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. First, I want to give a shout out to this book, Mr. Papayoo and the Lava World. It's written by JB Andrews. It is awesome, literally awesome. I love to support my indie authors, so I couldn't do this video without mentioning this book. I was in a reading slump recently, and someone, hopefully I can find the comment, but if I can't, you gotta take my word for it. Someone said that the best way to break a reading slump is to read a children's story. So technically this is a children's story. However, I do feel like it's good for all ages. Like it's enjoyable. It's a light read. Like I just drank some tea. I enjoyed myself. I had a good time, you know? I did read some of it with my niece and nephews, and they really enjoyed it. But yeah, I feel like even as an adult, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. It's kind of like, it's completely different, okay? But if I was to relate it to something, I would say it's like Minions vibe. So it's like, yeah, it's marketed towards children like Minions is, but adults still enjoy it. It's like the cover doesn't do justice to the artistry that is this world. And I have to talk about it I'll try to be quick, but I have to talk about it for a second. So basically it's like these creatures that, you know, no, like, the reason this story is so, like, the reason this story got my attention so much and deserves a shout out, because what J.B. Andrews did was he created a whole new universe. He created these creatures that haven't existed. It's like so rare in this day and age to come across something completely new, and this is completely new. It's completely different. If I was to relate it to anything, I would say Smurfs and Minions, kind of like, it's, you know, little creatures. I don't want to give much away, but they're little barbecue people, and it's so cute. It's like the most magical, creative story that I've read in a long time, and it definitely got me back into reading. It got me excited to read, and reading it with my niece and nephews, they were really into it. They didn't want to sleep a little bit because they were enjoying it so much, so maybe read it well before bedtime. And yeah, like, they were asking questions, they were engaged. Like, I'm a huge advocate for, you know, reading to children and getting children into books, because it's not only a fun bonding experience, but it's so important to stimulate young minds and stimulate the brain. And yeah, like, this book will be linked below. I highly recommend it, and it's free on Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, don't get much better than free. All right, so that aside, I look really tired, which I can explain. So I have insomnia, which is like, quite often I'll come on here and look a little undead, and I've had, like, to the point where people will be a little concerned. I'm like, that's just my face, that's just the vibe, you know. It's the weekend, so I'm just going at it. Anyway, so yeah, I've actually only slept 3 hours. I went to bed around midnight after falling into YouTube, like a YouTube hole of conspiracies, but they were really good conspiracies about aliens and like Stonehenge and like all of that cool stuff, the Amazon that hasn't been properly investigated, and like, you know, just all that stuff. I was really deep into it, and I went to bed around 1 and I woke up around 3:30, so that was my sleep. And I couldn't get back to sleep, and then I just had a morning. Originally I was going to do like what I ate in a day of like NaNoWriMo, and then I realized I was not good. I was not a good example for that, so I was like, probably shouldn't do that, because I've eaten like a lot, but it's all pretty much been unhealthy food. I'm like, I shouldn't share that. I think I'll just keep that to myself, but usually I try to be healthy. So anyway, I realized this morning, I was just like scrolling through social media, people are sharing stuff about NaNoWriMo. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I love watching people's progress with it. And then I realized, wait, I'm literally writing Heartless right now. I'm writing this book, like I have to write this book. Ideally, I would like to have it out on April 1st, 2024, because it actually marks 10 years since my mum passed. Those of you who don't know, I worked on this series. It's now Vampire Descendants. It was originally Helena's series. I recently republished. And it's been a really long journey working on these books, a really long journey. There's a whole story that I'll probably do in another video. I don't want this video to be like heaps long. But the very abridged version is I started writing this on Wattpad in 2010. Well, no, I started writing it a little bit before Wattpad, and then I joined Wattpad and started sharing it in 2010. It didn't get any traction for about 2 years, but then it did, and it went viral, which was super cool. I was really excited about that. It can be a little disheartening when you're sharing your work and not getting any reads whatsoever, but that was the case, and I just kept going with it because I loved it that much. And yeah, I wrote this series alongside my mum's mentorship. She was a poet. She also loved writing. Both my parents were very creative, but sadly she passed away unexpectedly. I dedicated the book to her. So yeah, I worked on this book alongside my mum's mentorship. She was very honest. She would tell me when it wasn't good and what to redo, and it was like a bonding experience. I'd go out to my mum and I'd be so excited, like, I wrote this chapter, I wrote this, I wrote that. And there was one chapter that she absolutely loved, and she said, this is perfect, don't change it. And there was one chapter the rest I did change. And that one chapter will forever remain the same because she was proud of it. I don't care if it's wrong or right, my mum loved it. So yeah. Anyway, so that being said, I was writing this book for years and my mum passed away. I was also dealing with some health issues that slowed down the process. And then like she passed away and I published the book within a year. It was more just like for myself, but because it was viral, people, you know, were interested in it. And, you know, I did get some sales, but I wasn't happy with that version. It was more just something to keep me sane, I guess. And then I was still writing the books. I was still working on them. I'm up to book 3 at the moment, which is Heartless. However, in 2019, we had the fires. And after that, we had COVID. And then my dad passed away during COVID. So yeah, that was, again, it was only like 5 years after mum or something, which sounds like a long time, but it's not. And after that, I just got really discouraged and I just, I didn't stop writing, but I stopped sharing. I just wrote for me. I've got a lot of books that are going to be coming out, but something shifted. I think maybe because it's coming up a decade. I don't know, just something shifted and I just woke up one morning. I'm like, I'm going to finish what I started. It was partly because people kept asking me, even a decade later, they were like, when's the last book coming out? Like, when's the next book? Like, what's going on? And it made me so happy and it was such a drive to keep moving forward. So I am happy to announce that Heartless is in the works. It is in the works. And if you want to follow the progress of it, I will be making videos during NaNoWriMo. I don't know how many, but I'll do my best. And working on it. And ideally, I would like to have it out by April 1st, but that's going to be really tight, like, which is why NaNoWriMo was a good idea, because, you know, I'm going to basically have the book done just over a month. NaNoWriMo is, I think, 30K. The book's going to be like 60K-ish. So, you know, I'm basically going to have a decent portion of the book done by November. So it's like, it could possibly, if I really work my A off, it could possibly be done by that date, and it would mean a lot to me if I could have the 3rd book out on that date, marking 10 years, you know, her 10-year anniversary of her death. So anyway, a bit grim, but I republished these books. They're not up just yet, but they will be up soon. And feel free to follow my social media, author Emma Lowe, on TikTok for the updates on NaNoWriMo, and Instagram for updates on this. But I love how it turned out. I love the new version, and I'm so proud of, you know, myself for going back and working on it. And I republished a 2nd book as well, which is Spellbound, and now we're on the 3rd, which is Heartless. It's been a long road, and I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm talking about it. I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe that I'm writing this series again. Like, I started this series when I was about 17 years old, and going back into Helena's mind is just like, it's interesting and it's a challenge. It's a challenge because my writing style has changed a little bit since I wrote this, and I want to keep it the same. So trying to mimic how I used to write is the main kind of thing that slows me down a little bit. But I'm trying not to focus too much on perfection and focus on getting it done. And then in editing, I can, you know, neaten things up or rephrase. Because I know that people did always compliment and like the way it was written, because it was written in a very conversational type of language. So yeah, sorry, I keep playing with the book. So yeah, I'm working on book 3. And I'm already tired. It's day 1. Technically day 9 of NaNoWriMo, but day 1 for me. Coming in this late, unfortunately, gives me some setbacks. So to be like I feel like, okay, NaNoWriMo is technically a race. So everyone else is here. I'm obviously here because I just started. To get to where everyone else is, I have to write 10K today. Do I think that's possible? Not really. I'm aiming for 5K. I'll be happy for 5. And then obviously I'm gonna have to write more tomorrow, and then more tomorrow. And I'm gonna have to build, everyone's slowly writing more, but I'm gonna have to write even more than what everyone else is writing to catch up. Is it possible? Yes. Am I looking forward to it? Not really. but I am looking forward to the final result, and I know that hard work pays off, and both myself, my parents, and the readers of this series will be so happy that it's being completed. There was originally 6 books planned. Yeah, 6 books. I'm on book 3, but I just want to state that even though this has been revamped and changed and edited a little bit, I've kept the basic outline the same of what it's always been. And of course that one golden chapter exactly the same, and it will always be exactly the same. So yeah, that's basically the update. We're doing it. If you want to follow my progress, go to TikTok, again, AuthorMLO. And if you want to get updated about this bad boy, AuthorMLO on Instagram. And of course, if you want to support our indie authors like we should, check out Mr. Papayoo and The Lava World. It honestly is a really good novel. It's not too long. It's the perfect length to just either read and enjoy yourself, to get out of a reading slump, or to read with the kids, or a gift perhaps for Christmas for a niece or nephew. But yeah, it's just a good read, and it's educational too. At the start it goes into science a little bit, but not in a heavy way. It's in a way that's like entertaining but also teaching a little bit. Very subtle, very demure. It's mindful. I love the formatting as well. It's just a beautiful little novel. Like, I just love it. So I do recommend this. This is also going to be linked below, and it's free on Kindle Unlimited. And while I'm giving shout outs to everything, this is mine and Anya's book. She's a very, very talented writer. It is also free on Kindle Unlimited. This one is not for the kids, just to be clear. This one is for the adults, strictly the adults, if you catch my drift. Strictly just adults. So yeah, that's... Guess I'm gonna go right now. Wish me luck.